UFC 279. Nate Diaz versus Chimaez. No. Let me remind you, just in case you have not been watching MMA news for the last 24 hours, that it is no longer Nate Diaz versus Chimaez. It is now Tony Ferguson versus Nate Diaz. Because Chimaez missed weight. Now that's a big thing. It's a big deal. Because Chimaez didn't miss weight by half a pound or a pound. He missed weight by 7.5 pounds. But we'll come back to that. So, but I want to say that I agree with Chael Sonnen on a couple of things. First, he predicted that Nate Diaz would have won the fight. Second, after Chimaez missed weight, he declared that he was right, that Nate Diaz won the fight. I agree with him on both statements. And now let me say this. I probably wouldn't necessarily pick Nate Diaz to win against Chimaez, but let me say that I was rooting for Nate Diaz. Because if you are a true MMA fan, you've been watching MMA for a long time, so there is absolutely no way you would bet against Nate Diaz, fighting against a newcomer like, Chimaez. I don't care, what you think, but those Diaz brothers, I've been watching them fight for such a long time, so I'm a huge fan. So of course I was rooting for Nate Diaz. But I must also say that for those who counted out Nate Diaz completely, I've seen people say, well, there's no way Nate Diaz win this fight. Even if you are a fighter, okay, you can say, but hey, you can say, well, but you're not a fighter. What do you know? I'm a fighter. I'm telling you they can win. I don't care. I've been watching this game for a long time too. So I do know a few things. I do understand a couple of things, and I think because of that, my opinion does matter too. And I'm not saying your opinion don't matter, but to completely count Nate Diaz out, I think it's a little reckless. Because let me remind you that Nate Diaz, his last fight was against the current welterweight champion. The weight class he's about to fight in. He was about to fight Chimaez, and his last fight was against Leon Edwards, who is the current 170-pound division champion. And now we may say, well, but Edwards was beating him more, for all the 5 rounds. Yes, he was. But he didn't take Diaz out. And if you've been watching, Edwards' fights, he's a dangerous fighter, and he took out most everybody he fought, but he couldn't take Diaz out. I understand he was winning the fight. He couldn't take him out. And on top of that, Diaz almost knocked him out in the last minute of the fight. So I'm just saying, Diaz is not just like a washed out fighter, some, guy who is, completely out of his prime, and, we're just feeding him to Chimaez. That's the way I felt like a lot of people took it, but I don't believe so. That's not my opinion. As I say, he just had a 5-round fight, against the champion, almost knocked him out. And if that doesn't mean much to you, let me remind you that the champion he almost knocked out, himself just knocked out the one I consider as the GOAT for now. For the 170-pound division, to me, Kamaru Usman was the GOAT, and Leon Edwards knocked him out to retain the belt. So Diaz is a legit fighter, and we all know that. And to me, he has a decent chance of beating Chimaez. But anyways, so now on the second point, after Chimaez missed weight, and Chael Sonnen said, well, hey, I told you, Nate Diaz won. I agree with him, and he explained it. As I said, I'm not an MMA fighter, but I've been watching the game for a while, and even if I don't know much about it, I do know that making weight for a fight is important. And if you don't know that's important, let's go back to about 2 months ago. Charles Oliveira They took his belt away because he missed weight by what? I mean, it was half a pound or a pound. It wasn't much, but they still took his belt away. So it's important to make weight for your fights. And not any fight, not any fight. I mean, this is the biggest opportunity that was, afforded to Khamzat Chimaez to fight a legend like Nate Diaz on pay-per-view in front of the whole world. The whole fight is built pretty much to around Chimaez, to build him up. He was given a great opportunity, and he fumbled it. And not only that, I mean, I also have a problem with Chimaez, the way he responded to the whole thing, because a couple of times that I have seen him talking about it, he didn't think it was a big deal. He was like, well, I'm here to fight everybody. I said, listen, I saw him, like on an interview with Megan Olive. Maybe I misheard him, but because at first I thought maybe he was sick or something. But he said there was nothing wrong with my body. But he wanted to blame it on the doctors. He wanted to blame it on the doctors because he said he was told to stop cutting weight about 4 a.m. in the morning? I mean, I don't know. Listen, again, I'm not a fighter. I've not been around in this realm, around fighters where they're cutting weights. I'm not a coach or, or trainer or anything. I don't know all the things that go in there and cutting weights and everything. But it seems to me that the rules would apply the same to everybody. And I assume, right, wouldn't you? I mean, I assume that the doctors, they're there for the fighter's safety. So if they had asked him to stop cutting weight, I would assume this was for his own safety. So to try to blame them and also to stand there, not apologize, to anybody, and I understand. He still have to fight tonight, and he's gonna be standing, across the ring from some dangerous guy. I mean, Kevin Holland is no joke. He's gonna be fighting him. I understand he wants to keep up his confidence, but one time, if you just apologize just one time, to everybody, to your fans, to Nate Diaz, to the UFC, the organization that put all that effort to pretty much build this moment for you. And listen, I don't know how official that was, but I believe Dana White said that this fight, the winner of that fight, was going to be next in line for the title. I mean, now we all knew that Leon Edwards, upset Kamaru Usman. So of course, Kamaru Usman being the GOAT that he is, he deserves, an immediate rematch, unless he would say no. But he deserved an immediate rematch. But at least whoever won that fight would have been, next in line for the title shot. So I got a few questions to ask. Should Chimaez be in line for a title shot even if he beat Kevin Holland tonight? I'm just asking. I mean, you guys are the expert. I'm just asking the experts there and all the other fans like me. I'm asking your opinion. I mean, should he? My opinion, he shouldn't. I mean, he shouldn't, because this is a big moment that he just fumbled. He just messed the whole thing up. I mean, that's a huge deal. For them to build that moment for that opportunity for you, and that's what you did. I don't care what all the excuses. They were supposed to fight in October, blah blah blah. I don't care about the excuses. Those are excuses because I don't know. But I'm asking, should he? In my opinion, if he beat Kevin Holland, he should fight some of those guys like maybe, Colby Covington, Sean Brady, Belal Muhammad, one of those guys, because it would be unfair for him to do what he did, with that event, and to bypass one of those other guys and give him a shot at the title, especially if the winner of the next fight between Leon Edwards, and Kamaru Usman turn out to be Leon Edwards. So yeah, so I'd like to hear you guys' opinion. But before I finish, I want to do my prediction. So Kevin Holland taking on Khamzat Chimaez. So again, Khamzat Chimaez disappointed me this weekend. So I've seen him in those little interviews where I've seen him talk. I don't see the same guy who was like, oh, yes, brother, I'm here. I'm going to smash everybody. I'm going to smash everybody. I'm going to fight everybody. I didn't see the same energy. I didn't see the same confidence. So I'm picking Kevin Holland to win this fight by knockout. Okay? And Kevin Holland, I mean, is hell of a fighter. We all know it. He struggles some, with the wrestling, with some of the wrestlers. But he went down to work with Daniel Cormier. So, I mean, I believe in his last fight, he showed that he had some improvement. So I'm picking him to win by knockout. And then Tony Ferguson versus Nate Diaz. Hard one for me. But of course, I'm not picking side. I'm not rooting for any one of them. I love both of those guys. I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to pick Tony Ferguson. And the reason is I think Tony Ferguson is at a crossroad here. Okay? So he lost 4 in a row. He lost his last 4 fights. I think this is his moment. And I could see it this weekend. I mean, he is happy. He is confident. I mean, he seems pumped up. I don't see any reason that he wouldn't fight as good as, as Tony Ferguson can fight. As a matter of fact, the last fight before he got knocked out, I mean, he was winning. He was looking good, against Mike Chandler. Now, of course, we all know he with that, chin, front kick, he got knocked out. But between Nate Diaz and Tony Ferguson, I don't expect anybody to get knocked out. It's gonna be a 5-round fight, but I'm picking Tony Ferguson to win the decision. So, guys, this is my predictions, and you just go in the comments, below, make your comments and make your own prediction. See you all later.